Hello, good morning to all of you. Please, these are guidelines for all polling agents who are going to attend to the presidential primaries on the election day. 1. Every polling agent or every agent must make sure that he arrives at the center early enough. That is to say, if the voting is to begin at 7 o'clock a.m., if possible, the agent should get to the center by 6:30 before the polling starts or before the voting actually begins. You must arrive on time so that you can observe everything that will take place at the polling center. Again, all the agents going to the voting centers must have an accreditation. Accreditation will be given by your reps so that you can go to the polling station that has been assigned to you. So you wear your accreditation tag indicating that you have been assigned to that particular polling station. Again, you have to make a checklist of all the election materials, especially the sensitive ones. For example, the ballot papers that are going to be used at your center, you should check for the ballot papers, that all the ballot papers are valid. That is, in terms of the serial numbers. In fact, you have to record all the serial numbers of the ballot papers. Some of the ballot papers will be in hundreds, that is, in a booklet of 100. Some will be in 50s and others will be 25. So you have to get a pen and notebook to record all the ballot papers that will be issued to that particular center, that is the polling station. So you make sure, it is very, very important, make sure that you record all the serial numbers of the ballot papers that have been issued at that particular polling station. This is so because if there is any foreign ballot paper that has been brought outside and it is not part of the ones that were issued at the polling station, you'll be able to make it out. Again, you have to also inspect and make sure that this the validating stamp, that is the EC stamp that is going to be used at the polling station, you have to check and also observe the particular stamp. That is what we call it, the validating stamp, the one that is used to mark, to show that this ballot paper is from this station. Every polling station will have a validating stamp. This validating stamp is unique, is very peculiar to that particular polling station. That is, it is only that particular polling station that will use that stamp. So please, when you get to the center, you have to make sure that that particular validating stamp is the one that is being used. You can even politely request the mark from the presiding officer. The presiding officer should be able to show you that this is the validating stamp that is going to be used at that center. You must also have what we call a tally sheet. A tally sheet. This is where you can make reference to the total number of voters or the total number of delegates who have come to the center to vote, so that at everybody, when everyone votes, you mark. This can help you to know the total number of voters or delegates who have come to vote at the center. So you should get what we call a tally sheet. Again, at all times, the agent must be very vigilant about the voting process. That is what we call, you have to open your eyes or you shine your eyes. Whatever is being done at the center, you have to be interested. Don't go there and have conversations which are not necessary. Stick to the guidelines that have been given to you, the instructions that you have to obey. Again, you have to look out for what we call impersonation. That is, on the register, if someone is using another person's ID card to vote, you have to stop that. That is not allowed. That is what we call impersonation. So if it is possible, you check the ID card of the person who is going to vote. Normally that one is done with the electoral commission officer who is going to take charge of the register, or what we call the delegate register. So you have to cooperate with the presiding officer to make sure that nobody uses another person's ID card to vote. Now, after voting has taken place and before the sorting out and counting, this area is also important. Before we do the sorting and counting, or as it is being done, that is where they are going to check for each candidate the number of votes that he obtained. Now, here, this is what you have to do. You have to check for every ballot with the appropriate EC validating stamp at the back of the ballot paper. At this stage, the election officials will be sorting the ballot papers according to the candidates' faces. That is the valid vote. If the person has been voted and the vote has been accepted as a valid vote, this is where the EC will do the sorting. They do the sorting out. After the sorting, they do the counting. So you have to make sure that all ballot papers are properly reconciled. That is, each candidate has his original ballot in his name, and it shows the picture, and you have to look for the mark. That is where it has been thumb printed. You make sure that the one that has been thumb printed is for that particular candidate. You have to open your eyes and check for that detail. Then during the sorting out of the ballot papers, of the individual ballot papers, all agents must be very vigilant at this process, because this is where you have to make sure that your candidate has been given his ballot papers, or the ballot that has been casted in favor of him. So when they are sorting it out, that is making sure that the name or the photo of the candidate is where the ballot has been placed. You have to be very vigilant. You have to open your eyes and check for that detail. Now, again, you follow through the counting process. As the counting is being done, you make sure that the presiding officer does not skip or miss the numbers. Sometimes this is where somebody will mention 102 before you realize he said 121 or 120. So you have to open your ears and your eyes and observe the process thoroughly. You don't have to miss anything that happens during the counting. Then, after the counting and allocation of votes to each candidate, please record the candidate's total votes obtained. So here, after the presiding officer have decided, or all of you at the polling station have decided that this is the total number of votes that each candidate obtained, it is being recorded. So you should also record it in the name of your candidate. Then you look out for any rejected ballots. Here, the rejected ballots are the ballots that the presiding officer in collaboration with the agents present have all accepted that either there was a double thumbprint or there was something wrong with the ballot, so it cannot be accepted as a valid ballot or as a valid vote. So that one is taken out, and this one is what we call the rejected ballot. This one can be controversial, but you need to know why the presiding officer has counted it as a rejected ballot. So you have to open your eyes and make sure that the right thing is done. After the declaration of results, here it is the presiding officer who does the declaration. He announces the results of each candidate. So here too, you have to also open your eyes and follow through. After the declaration of the results, there is what we call the pin sheet that is filled. The presiding officer will fill correctly all what has taken place. That is the total number of ballots issued, the total number of delegates who were supposed to vote at the center. So here too, and this is very important because this is the record of all the proceedings that took place at the center. So the presiding officer should not make any mistake. So you have to be vigilant and read through the pin sheet, because that is going to be the record that will be taken for the collation center. So before you sign the pin sheet, you make sure that every record is correctly recorded, and make sure that what your candidate obtained is the correct one that has been written on the pin sheet. Please, you have to be very vigilant at this stage, because this is the record that will be sent to the collation center for them to be added to the other polling stations, and the overall results will be declared. So check for the pin sheet. If you don't understand anything, you can ask the presiding officer. You have to be very vigilant. Open your eyes. Whatever you don't understand, ask him before you sign the pin sheet. Then again, the presiding officer would also make sure that all the necessary records that has taken place is being recorded. So this is where I talk about the vigilance. You have to be very vigilant to observe all the activities that have taken place. If you are not satisfied with any of them, please, you can register your protest or your displeasure to the presiding officer or the security officer if present. And I'm sure by going through this simple vigilance procedures, you would be able to carry out a successful election as a candidate agent, or as what we call the polling agent. I wish you well. Thank you very much, and may God bless us all.